Good morning. I'm Charm Stone, and Bertha, did you want to say anything before I start, or?
No, but just good morning to anybody who just logged in. Welcome in and thank you for coming in early. My name is Bertha Sanchez. I'm from the CIOL department, and please reach out if you need anything. I'll be emailing the copy of the recording to all of you and to anybody who was not able to get in today as well.
So again, I am Charm Stone. I'm the Assistant Director of Purchasing. Thank you all for joining us today. There's quite a few of you guys online, so I figured since everybody's at home, why not get together and have a little like online Zoom party, right? Except we're not in Zoom, we're in Blackboard. I wanted to go over approval stuff with people because I know some people are having issues, and I wanted to make sure that everybody knows everything they can possibly know at this point. And I want to introduce the people that I have online with me that are from purchasing. I have Ronald Rodriguez, and he is my right-hand man. He's the expediter. I have Teresa Diaz, otherwise known as Terry Cabato. She's online with me.
Hello.
I have Norma Gal. She's online. I have Nafessa Larson, and I have Lucy Valdez online with me. I had Gabby Newsom, but she got kicked off and she's unable to get back in because we're at our maximum capacity. So I'm going to go ahead and start now. Today we're going to talk about approvals, and we're going to talk about policy and procedure and what you should and shouldn't do. So no one should be ordering anything, goods or services, before having a requisition in the system. That's against policy and procedure of the college. That's just standard knowledge. You should not be doing it. I mean, if you order something with your P card, that's totally different, but you should not be ordering any goods or services before doing your requisition in the system. Processing times for requisitions, we technically have a minimum of 2 weeks to process your recs once we receive them in purchasing. So you enter your requisition on day 1, maybe it doesn't get approved until day 2, then it has to go through the approval workflow by day 3, maybe it gets to purchasing by day 3 or 4. So we have 2 weeks from that day that we receive it in purchasing as a PO, and then we'll process your PO. It does not mean it's going to take us 2 weeks. It just means that we have 2 weeks in order to process your purchase order. Another thing we hear a lot is we've always done it this way. And unfortunately, especially now in this day and age where we're all home, we hear a lot, we've always done it this way. And it's because you've been trained by the previous person who's been doing it wrong and incorrectly, and it just keeps happening and happening. So we're trying to let you know the correct way of how something needs to be done. Not because we're trying to be difficult, but because it needs to be done this way to follow college policy and procedure. So now I'm gonna go into the system and show you how to approve requisitions, but I also want to talk about denied requisitions. Let's, for example, say you get a requisition in your queue to approve and there's something wrong with it, or you don't like the way it's worded, or you don't like the quantity. There's something that needs to be changed, and you need it to go back to the requester. So at that point, instead of doing pushback, you're going to do deny, and you need to put a note as to what they need to correct on the requisition. A lot of people have been using the pushback feature, and pushback only pushes it back to the first approver, which happens to be purchasing. So you're only pushing it back to purchasing. And if you needed to go back to your requester to make any revisions, you need to do deny. And once you push it back, or not push it back, I'm sorry, once you deny it, you put your comment, then it goes back to the requester. They can make the change. Otherwise, it comes back to purchasing, and then we have to look at it and realize it's been pushed back, and then try to send it back to your requester with a note that you gave to us. So they can see what that is. So if you need something corrected, please deny. Do not go and push it back to us. All purchases will become a requisition. There are only 2 ways to buy anything at the college. And one way is a requisition and the other way is a P card. And if you don't have a P card, your only way to make a purchase at the college is with a requisition. This is regardless of cost, regardless of what it is that you're buying, you would have to do a requisition. Unauthorized purchases will be directed to your campus president, director for administration, or business affairs. And payment for any unauthorized purchases may be the sole responsibility of the individual that has placed the order. And that is per our college procedure 6000. So just be aware that you could be responsible for paying for something that you've ordered without doing a requisition first. So I just want to throw that out there because you do need to be aware of that. We do have different levels of workflow. I want to make sure that everyone is aware that level 1 comes to purchasing. We are the first approvers of your requisition. We look for everything we need to look for on the requisition, which is different things that I'm going to talk about. We try to deny it back at that level before it goes past us so that you can make the correction so that it doesn't get denied by approver 1 or approver 2 or even approver 3. At this point, we want to make sure that it's as accurate as possible. We approve it, then we send it on. If it's an IT related purchase, it will go to your campus, your CIO at your campus, and then it goes to the Office of IT, Vice Provost, which we have 2 approvers that approve for technology related purchases. If it is not IT related, and it's under $5,000, it will go to only approver 1. If it's between $5,000 and $15,000, it goes to approver 2. And if it's over $15,000, it goes to your 3rd level of approver. Those are the different, that's the approval workflow. All right, I'm going to log in as myself into a different environment so that you can see. Hopefully everybody can see my screen, and I'm in MD Connect. Right, so there's 3 ways to approve. You can go through purchasing, e-procurement, or your work list. So I'm going to go through all 3 and show you. So I'm going to go to purchasing, which you would have gone through main menu, purchasing, requisitions, manage requisition approvals, and then you would click search, and then whatever you have in your queue that's available will show up here. So I'm going to select this one to approve. I'm just going to click on the number. Yes. Anyway, so here's the information that you see when you go into approve. You have header comments that you can click on. Once you click on the header comments, this is a little bit slow, you get to see what information is here and if it's correct and if it's the information that you need. And you also need to make sure that the budget status is valid. And here's the item description, the vendor name, and there's no other attachments for this one. So you would click here where it says select all, and then you want to view the line details. Here you would be able to see the whole chart string. The item description, the header comments are here. The item description says blanket order for staples for the district academic affairs team. We really need a better description than this, only because I don't know what is being purchased. Are these office supplies that are being purchased? Are these cleaning supplies that are being purchased? We need a little bit better description than this just so we know exactly what's being purchased, because actually we have 2 different buyers who buy from Staples. One buys cleaning supplies and janitorial supplies, and the other one buys office supplies. So we do need to have a little bit better description. Here you're going to see, and the other thing that we look at in purchasing is the account. So the account used for this one is 65501. That's the account that they've used for this. Technically, if it's office supplies, it needs to be 65502. If it's supplies that are being used in the academic setting, then you can use 65501. They are not, it's not a restricted account as it used to be, so you can transfer in and out of 65502. If you see anything here wrong when you're approving, this is your time to deny and send it back. Okay, so here's the screen that you would see. When you go here and you click and you do view line details, you get a pop-up that comes up, which is this box. And this is where you're going to look for the account number here, and this is your whole chart string. This is the item description. Here's the header comments. And this is the stuff that we look for in purchasing. So we're looking at account, we're looking at item description, we're looking at your header comments. We want to know that those are accurate. So if you deny, you have to put a comment. If you approve, it just goes on to the next approver. And there's only one more approver for this level, and that's approver 1. So that's one way to approve, is through manage requisition approvals. The other way is going to be through e-procurement. You can go through main menu, financials, e-procurement, manage requisition approvals. And it's going to be the same screen. It looks exactly the same. So if I pick a different requisition to look at, I'll look at this one. There's a requester justification here. You can have your requester put in a justification for the purchase. That goes all the way through, so every single approver can see this comment here. There's also a header comment for this one, which is interpreting services for the deaf. Just letting us know that's what it is. Then there's actually a comment on the line. So this is called a line comment, which is directly on the line. And when you click on the bubble with the writing on it, it gives you a little bit more information. Basically what she wrote as her requester justification, she made it as her line comment also. And then of course, it's budget status is valid. We do need that. And when we click here to go and view the line details, which that other screen is going to pop up, you will see that the account is here. It's hearing impaired student services. They have their line comments, they have their header comments. So everything looks accurate for this one. We would approve. Otherwise, you can deny and you have to put a comment. I'll give you the breadcrumbs. So for this one, it's main menu, financials, e-procurement, and then manage requisition approvals. For the previous one, it's main menu, financials, purchasing, requisition, manage requisition approvals. So they both end in manage requisition approvals to get to the same thing. And the third and last way of approval is through work list. So I don't use the work list, and you'll see work list is really ugly. I don't like to use my work list, but in your work list, it shows you everything. So it'll show you travel expenses or travel authorizations. It'll show you budget information, you know, like budget transfer stuff. It's going to show you everything. But in my work list, I have purchase orders and I have requisitions. And I have stuff on here from 2016, which to me is just really ugly. That's why I don't go here. I would rather go through the manage requisition approvals to actually approve my requisitions. If you click on any of these column headers, it will sort it. So I had my oldest first, and now I want my newest one first. So I just click on it, and it puts my newest stuff first. And you will see that the requisitions that we looked at in the other screen are here. So this is the same requisition. If you just click on the link that's there, it takes you to that same page that I just previously showed you with the same exact information here. So it's one of those things that some people like the work list. I personally don't like the work list. I don't use the work list, but there are people that use it. How to clear the stuff out of your work list is it's got to be done. There's got to be code that's got to be done in the background in order to clear it. It doesn't just go away. If you have this highlighted here where it says mark worked, you could clearly click on that and it will be removed from your work list. Now, unfortunately, all of mine do not have that highlighted because these are so old, and they were old, worked at one point in time, and now they're just here. So I would have to get someone to change the code in the background to clear this work list for me, and to me it's just not worth it because I don't use the work list at all. I don't find it useful. But I wanted to show you just in case you needed a third way to approve. Because sometimes people get an email or they see something and they're like, I can't find it in my work list. Well, It's so much easier if you've got a requisition to approve to go directly back to the manage requisition approvals and approve it at that point in time. Let me go back to my PowerPoint, and I'm going to stop sharing this. And I am going to ask the buyers if there's anything that they want to add to the approval information, because I mean they are approving every single day. We are on, you know, in no means trying to pick on anyone. If we're denying your stuff, most of the time we take turns. So you'll get an email that somebody's out of the office or on vacation, and I get people that call me and they're like, oh my gosh, so-and-so's out of the office or on vacation. Who's going to approve my stuff? Well, we have a calendar set up where everybody has a day that they take a turn to do approvals. So if Gabby is not there one day, there are other people that are looking at approvals that day for her while she's out. So do not worry, because we have like 9 people listed as approvers for that first level of approval. So do not think that if you get an out of office from someone that you're not going to get approvals done that day, because that's not true. We are constantly looking at our approvals every single day. Do you guys have anything to add to the approvals? No? Everybody's quiet. If you have any questions about training, you can email us at ba_training@mdc.edu. And that means if you're having trouble with approving something, or you're not able to approve something, or you don't see something in your queue to approve, you can send an email to this ba_training@mdc.edu, and somebody can come in and they will answer your question for you. If you have any questions about processes in regards to purchasing, please email us at purchasing@mdc.edu. That is the purchasing mailbox that's monitored daily, and we will try to help you as soon as we can. If you have any questions about vendors, we have a vendor email that you can send your questions to. That is every day also. If you need any forms from Business Affairs, you can go to the Business Affairs department section and find all the forms for Business Affairs areas in that whole area right there. And any of the departments, you can go to Business Affairs and see like purchasing, accounts payable, budget, central accounting. All the information is there in the department section. And if you have, always go to the CIOL to get any of your workshop information. Also, we will be going live really soon, hopefully by the end of this month, with our new page that's going to have all of our trainings and all of our videos and all of our documents on how to do anything business affairs related. It will be on that special page that we're going to have, and we'll make sure that we send it out to you when it goes live. We'll email it to you so that you can view videos on how to do a rec, or how to approve a rec, or how to do a travel expense, or how to do a travel authorization, or how to do a budget transfer. They'll all be there on that page. So that is it for the approval part. I don't know if there's any questions for the approvals that anybody has that they want to ask right now. That we are open to questions.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I have a question. As an approver, quite often after a preparer sends something to me and I approve, when I'm looking for information on it, I can't see what the preparer did. How can you see everything that the preparer did if I need to go back and check?
So can you give me an example of what you're looking for?
Anything. I generally try to go back into the work list, but I see that I don't see everything. In case there is an issue I'm being asked about, whether it's a description, it's something.
Is this after you have approved or before you've approved?
After I have approved.
Okay, so after you, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
So after you've approved, then we would have to go a different way in to see the requisition. So Instead of going through manage requisition approvals, you could go through review requisition information.
Okay, and that allows you to see every step that the
It will
preparer.
allow you to see the requisition information. It may not allow you to see documents. I don't think it's going to allow you to see the attachments, right, Nafessa?
It does.
It will allow you to see an attachment?
Yes.
Okay, so when you go in, you'll go in through, you know, I would suggest doing, you have to go in through purchasing in order to do review requisition information. So you would go main menu, financials,
Okay.
purchasing, requisition, review requisition information. So at that point, you would enter you would need to know the requisition number, or you would know who your requester is, and you would put their name in.
Okay.
In order to see what you need to see.
Yeah, because that's been my pet peeve with the system. It can be, you know, sometime way after it's been entered, and I may be being asked a question about it, and I can't go back and check and see what I approved. Like once I approve, I don't see anything anymore.
Right, right. You would have to know the rec number. So the same thing happens to us once we approve. Once we approve and it goes out of our list, we don't see it either. I mean, it's gone. It's gone to the next approval level. And I know you might get questions from approver 2 or approver 3 about the requisition, and you need to go back to it and you want to look at it so you understand what they're asking. I understand that.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Can I ask something, Charm?
Yes.
Okay, so once he goes to where you told him to go and select the requisition, he needs to select status. Once he goes to status, he'll be able to view approval information, and to see the attachment, he would select line information and view the attachment.
Okay, so you want to share your screen? Are you already looking at it?
Yes.
Okay. Can you share your screen with everyone?
Okay. And yes.
And then I guess Carla's next after after we answer this question. We'll go to
And
Carla.
can you repeat the last part you said after status?
Charm,
Yeah,
this is Carla. My request is exactly either to share the screen or to enter the pathway in the chat box.
Okay, so Nafessa's going to share her screen with us because she's already logged in. Right, Nafessa?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So once you have the requisition number, it will take you to this screen. So I'm using
Can you start over? Can you go back to the previous screen and put in what you need to put in?
Okay.
Like go to the review requisition information screen.
Okay. All right. So okay. So as Charm said, you go to main menu and go to financials and purchasing. You would then go to requisitions and review requisition information. Then select requisition again. It will take you to this screen, and you have a number of options to find the requisition. You can do it by the requisition number, which you would enter here at requisition ID, the requester's name, or if the requester named the requisition, which sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. So in this case, I have the requisition ID that I copied. All right, so I'm just going to choose a random requisition. All right, and it brings up the requisition that was entered by the requester. In order to view the information, you would need to go to status. Once you're at status, you can see if it's already a PO, if the Y is under this section here that says on a PO. So to view the attachment and the information entered by the requester, you would go to approval status, which is the icon with a check mark here. And it will show you the process that it went through, who approved it in purchasing, and the following approvers, approvers 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, it only had one other approver. So in order to see the information, you would select here, line information. You can view it to view the account information and everything by viewing the lines, and it will show you the header comment, the account number that was used, and so on.
I have a question. Will you see the attachments here? Or do
Yes,
you do it
so I'm
somewhere else?
trying to get back
Okay.
there. So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it. I have another
Okay.
question. When
Right,
you
so
enter through the work list, do you see all that or you don't?
no,
Okay.
you have to go through here to see that information. So this is a blanket PO, so it does not have an attachment, but if it did have an attachment, it would be right here at the end next to the currency, which is the USD. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me see if I can
Yes,
go.
anybody have questions about that?
All right. So I'm quickly going through a second requisition that Marin entered. In this case, this one has an attachment. It's going to be right next to where the currency information is. And once you click on the icon, it should open up and you'll be able to see the attachment. Okay?
Excuse me. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi.
Mhm.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, this is Francis. First of all, thank you for doing this. This is very helpful to be able to see it in live motion. However, I have a question. Is there any guiding document of these different pathways that we can go back to? I know we can go back to this presentation. However, it'll be really helpful, especially for newer people that have joined and are approvers, if these pathways were somewhere laid out in a document that we can use to guide ourselves. Yes, sort
Okay.
of.
Yeah, I will definitely, I'm working on it. I'm working on getting the document ready for this, and I will show you the 3 different ways. I'm also gonna record it so that you can go through it step by step with me when, and it'll just be about approvals. So
Thank you
it
so
won't be
much.
this, and it'll be like a short little maybe 2-minute video that will show you the different ways to go in and do approvals.
Thank you, perfect, because we can combine it then with this recording and it will be really helpful. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and I know you're very busy with everyone here.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm going to do a written document also. So I'll have a doc that we can send out, or it'll be on our business affairs training page with all the information, and we'll send it to you. But I will go over all 3 different ways on how to approve. I'll make sure that everybody has that information. Does anybody else have any other questions about approvals? Liliana?
Okay, I know you're gonna send this to us, to all the attendants, but can you share this training with another coworker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Anybody who's at the college will be able to see this training.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can share it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're going to move on to the requester session. I'm going to give everybody like a little, I guess, 5-minute break. If you want to run, use the restroom, get a drink, or do whatever you need to do. 5 minutes, and then we'll start up by 10:30.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank
So
you.
come back, be back by 10:30, and we're going to start right at 10:30.
Charm,
Yes.
good morning. Thank you for the workshop. I would like to ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's Emma.
Hi, Emma. I know who it is.
I need to ask you a question. For example, when you explain about the word list, how we can see the name of the requisition? I was practicing right now to check it. For example, I open one, but doesn't say the name of the requisition, only another.
On the work list, it's not going to tell you the name on the work list. If you go through manage requisition approvals, it will tell you the name of the requisition. Like if you name it like Staples office account or office supplies 2020, then you would see that on the manage requisition approvals, but you will not see that part on the work list. The work list is very basic. It's basically the person who entered it, the date, you know, that it's the approval workflow and whether it's a requisition or whatever it is. That's basically all the information that the approver is going to get on that screen.
But only the approval has the access, right?
Correct. And I am going to talk about that in this session. I'm going to talk about the emails that you get when we deny.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
going to just get that. Don't worry. I'm going to go over that.
Because next week I have to do 2 or 3 requisitions that I don't have the information here to see, for example, that I'm going to use it. And I said, I know I bought it another laptops, I bought another items like the same. And then I would like to see some requisition that I already done last year of videos.
Okay, so if you go in through that review requisition information, instead of putting the name of the requisition, you could put the supplier name. And if you want, you can even put like a date range of when you think you did the requisition, and then it'll pull up everything for you. Because if you do review requisition information, it only gives you 20 recs at a time. So if you put a date range in, it'll give you like 20 recs within that date range. So
where I have to go?
I'm sorry?
Financial, where I have to go? Financial purchasing, I'm sorry. E-procures, requisition management?
No, that one you're going to go through main menu, financials. Who's going through my slides?
Where do you have the slide?
My slides on the screen, what I'm sharing, like somebody's moving my slides. Okay, so anyway, it's main menu, financials, purchasing, requisitions, review requisitions, and then requisition again. And then that's where you're going to do that. That's where you're going to put in the information.
Okay, purchasing, and then requisition.
Yes.
And then
review requisitions.
Review requisition. And then requisition.
Requisitions again, and then you're going to get to that screen that Nafesha showed that you're going to put in, you can put in the supplier name, you can put in your name, you can put in whatever information you want in order to search by. And it will show you all the recs approved. Anything that you've approved, canceled, denied, anything will be in that list.
Okay. Then I put it under my name, requester name.
Yes, you can put your name. You can leave it blank. You can just leave it blank. It's only going to give you your stuff anyway. So.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I think we're ready to start. I think we can start now.
Always. I know when I need you, always you answer. Thank you. You are fantastic. God bless you.
You're well. Stay well.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Bye. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're back. Hopefully everybody's online. If not, they'll jump in when they come back. Again, I'm Charm Stone. I'm the Assistant Director of Purchasing. I have been at Miami-Dade College for 26 years this year. And I'm still here. I got 4 more years till I can retire. Woohoo, I'm excited. We're going to talk about requisitions. We're going to talk about how to enter a requisition today. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information about requisitions also. Hold on, let me go through here. So again, I have online with me Lucy Valdez, I have Gabby Newsom, I have Nafessa Larson, I have Norma Leal, I have Ronald Rodriguez, and I have Teresa Cabato online with me moderating this chat. So if anybody has any questions, definitely put them in the chat. We'll be asking all questions at the end of the presentation, just like we did with the first presentation. So today we're going to talk about requisitions. Receipts and goods and services, like I said before in the previous session, you need to have a requisition in the system before you're receiving any goods or services. That requisition needs to be done. I know as a requester, you are just told to do what you need to do by your supervisor, and sometimes they're telling you to do the wrong thing. I've heard it, believe me, and I completely understand where you're coming from. I get it. But you need to let them know that, you know, they could be legally responsible as per policy and procedure for that purchase if it's done before the fact. Just let them know that. Again, processing times for requisitions, we have a minimum of 2 weeks to process your PO once we get it. Does not mean it's going to take us 2 weeks. We try to be as efficient as possible when processing our POs for you. If you have an emergency, and I mean an emergency, don't tell me that, you know, I forgot to do this 2 weeks ago and now it's an emergency. Really, we are trying to, because we bump your stuff ahead of other things that come in when people have already done them when they were on time. So your emergency makes everyone else have their stuff delayed. So really, if you have an emergency and it's a legit emergency, we will try to work with you. I mean, we are here for you. We are here to make sure that students get what they need, and we try to be as efficient as possible. Change order requests. Everyone should know there's a change order request form. If you need to increase, decrease, close, or cancel your PO, you need to fill out a change order request form. You need to send it in to us, to the buyer who's handling your PO, and they will take care of this for you. And that is the way that we do that now. If we did not used to do it, we would take emails in the past and everything, but we really need the form filled out. I know this is a little like tricky in this situation since we're all away, but we do have Adobe Sign, so you can possibly get stuff signed through Adobe Sign. If by chance you are just have no way of doing Adobe Sign, you don't know how to use it, or your boss doesn't know how to use it, or somebody doesn't know how to use it, you can send us an email until we go back to the college. Once we go back to the college, everything goes back to normal. And then that's what we're gonna do. And we'll let you know. We'll remind you. Again, we've always done it this way. We know that this happens, that you've been trained by the previous person who's been trained by the previous person who's been trained by the previous person. So it doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean just because you used some account in the previous 2 years that that's the accurate account that needs to be used now. We are really, really, really trying to police that and make sure that the accounts that are utilized on the requisition are the correct accounts used, because it does go all the way through to the payment on the AP side, and accounts payable will see that, and they could possibly have questions about why we're using that one also. So we do try to make sure that it is the correct one. Who's changing my slides? Please don't touch the slides.
We can see the slides. We can see it.
You can't see it?
No, everything you talk about, the change order, we didn't see it.
Well, I'm not showing, you're not even seeing a presentation.
Oh,
agenda.
okay.
I am not showing you anything in the system yet.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, so I'm just showing you my agenda. So I'm going over all of these points, and then I'll go into the system as a requester, and then I will show you the stuff in the system first. Okay, so there are 2 ways of entering a requisition. You can enter a requisition through the e-procurement module, and you can enter it through purchasing. I know some people are aware of both, and some people are only aware of e-procurement. When we went live, we chose to only go with e-procurement with the hopes that we were going to be able to upload catalogs to that, and it has not happened yet in the past 4 years. So hopefully, maybe one day it'll get done. But to me, the purchasing module is a little bit more user-friendly, and I will try to show you that also. Denied requisitions. When we deny a requisition, it is not personal. I seriously doubt that the buyers are looking at the names on the requisitions. They are looking for information. So they are looking for budget status of being valid, not provisionally valid. Do not pre-budget check your requisition. You need to budget check it. Check budget only. Pre-budget check does not set aside the funds for this purchase. It does not pre-encumber the funds. It only tells you, yes, at this moment in time, you have the funds available, but it does not pre-encumber the funds for you. So you need to make sure that you check the budget. So if it comes in and it's provisionally valid, we will deny it. If it's in error, we will deny it. And the errors that you should be seeing are either exceeds budget tolerance, which means that you have gone over what you have available in KK Budge 1, not KK Budge 2. So make sure that you look at KK Budge 1 and find out how much money you have in your pooling account before you call me and tell me that you know you have $10,000, and then when I go and look, I see that you have like 50 cents. So you really need to make sure that you look at KK Budge 1 when you get a exceeds budget tolerance error. The other error that you might get would be, why am I drawing a blank? Exceeds budget tolerance or no budget exists. So no budget exists means that that account does not exist. More than likely, it's that your account does not exist for your budget. And that's probably that you don't have any 7 set up, a 7 pooling account or a 7 account. That you would have to get set up through budget. You would have to contact budget. They will then help you set that up. Or if you're a grant, you would go through Ana Maria Vega or Odalis Solaris, and they could help you with your budget. Now, again, if you're a grant, the budget error that you might get is budget date out of bounds. And if you get that error, that means that the grant date that was on the project has finished. And if we're in budget date out of bounds, we also have to go through Ana Maria or Odalis in order to help us correct that situation. If you do not select a supplier, that will get you your rec denied. You have to make sure that you select the supplier. You have to make sure that you have the right account selected. If you don't know what account to use, you can reach out to the buyer who you know who purchases that commodity, or you can reach out to someone in purchasing and they can help you select the right account. Anybody can help you. If you have an incomplete item description, that means if you put Staples and Staples is the vendor and you put Staples as your item description, I have no idea if you're buying Staples or if you mean that you want to buy stuff from Staples, because that's such a generic item description. I can't even explain to you how many recs we get like that. You need to be specific and say, open account for office supplies for English department. At least then we know you want office supplies. And please refrain from using the term educational materials. Be specific. If you need pens and paper, you need office supplies for educational purposes, then let us know. Like, I need, desk supplies, or I need whatever for the education, educational part for students, whatever. But when you say educational materials and you're talking about toilet paper or whatever it is that you're talking about, we don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. You need to be more specific. No contact information. This is a big deal, because if you don't put your contact information somewhere on the requisition, if you were to get a delivery and receiving and there is no contact information on there, they don't know where that needs to go. I know that is ridiculous and it sounds crazy, but you need to make sure that you put your name, your extension, your room number, whatever, some way of contacting you, your email address, so that any of us can contact you. Purchasing can contact you, or receiving or accounts payable can contact you. That is the only way sometimes that we get people. Because if you rely on the Microsoft Outlook address book, there is a ton of people in there with no phone numbers, no room numbers. I have no idea where those people are at all. It is difficult to get in touch with people, and we just want to send an email. And if anybody on here knows how many Maria Rodriguez's there are in the address book, you'll understand why you have to put your contact information, because there's a bunch. And I have no idea, unless I email every single one of them and say, hey, did you do a rec for Staples, that I would even know who to contact. So again, make sure you put your contact information anywhere. You can put it as a comment. You can put it in the item description. You can put it anywhere on the rec as long as it's there. And attachments. We need to have attachments. If it is something that requires an attachment, please, please, please include the attachment. You can include it at the header or you can include it at the line. Either way, we just need to make sure that there's an attachment. If it's something that needs to be itemized, do not enter it in as one giant lump sum, because we will deny and we will make you itemize it. So you might as well go ahead and itemize it at that point before submitting it, thinking that it's going to be okay to submit it as one lump sum. If you have a question about that, then please check with the buyer who buys that commodity and ask them, hey, can I put this in as an open account? They will tell you yes or no. If it's anything over $1,000, if any of the items are $1,000 or more, you will need to definitely itemize it, because that item needs to have a property decal attached to it. How to submit your denied requisition. We're going to talk about that also, and where to find your document status. I know a lot of people have trouble finding where the status of their requisition. All purchases need to become a requisition, like I said, regardless of what it is. You need to just put the rec in and then make the purchase, or use a P card. Those are your two options. These are the different levels of the workflow. Like I said, level 1 is purchasing. We do all requisitions. Level 2 is either the CIO or the Office of IT Vice Provost, if it's technology related. Or there's approver level 1, which is under 5,000. 5,000 to 15,000 is approver number 2, and over 15 is approver number 3.
Hi. Hi, this is Carla Hamati from Padron Campus, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
You explained many things in the beginning of the session, but the only thing I could see was the agenda item. So
that was the only thing I was talking about. That was all I was looking at, was the agenda stuff. I haven't shown you anything. I haven't logged in. I'm logging in right now into MD Connect to show you the requisition stuff now.
Thank you.
Okay, and then if you have any other questions, then you can ask me after we finish. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, so I'm sorry, let me go back to the home screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen? The MD Connect screen? I hope so.
Yes.
Anybody? Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna go into main menu, and then we would go to financials. You're gonna go to e-procurement and then requisition. Here, you would just look yourself up. I'm not in here, so I'm gonna pick Charmaine Murillo, because I can pick her. Okay, so here's where we're gonna add. So you're gonna do express item entry. You always do express item entry. This is the only selection for you. So once you click on that, you're gonna enter the description of your item. And then you're going to enter your quantity. You're going to enter the unit of measure, which you can open up the little the little magnifying glass, and you can see all the different units of measure here. You can pick piece, pad, package. I'm going to pick package. And then you have to pick a category. So here's where it gets a little tricky. I know everybody hates these. But you just have to pick the best one that you can think of. And I'm just gonna pick fish food just because it's right here. I mean, you can type in anything here. You can do contains in the description and put comp for computer, and then you can do lookup. So it will give you anything that starts with COMP. And all of these are here. Actually, I'll buy a computer display. That shouldn't be too costly. And I'm going to put it in, it's going to be $5. It's refurbished and used. So it's $5. And I'm going to pick my supplier ID. I'm going to contains, and I'm going to put here Dell, and I'm going to do lookup, and I'm going to pick Dell. So I have Dell here, and now I'm going to add this to the cart. That's all the information that you need to put on this one. The information, this one, we don't need this tab. So really, you're really going to use the details tab and put your item information here. And if you have to add multiple lines, you click the plus sign, and it'll give you another line to add another item here. You subtract it to take it away. So add to add more lines, and subtract. Once you have all the lines that you want here, then you're going to click add to cart. And you see that you have one line in your cart here, and then you're going to go to checkout. So here it is in checkout. And I'm going to name my requisition test item. You can name it anything you want. You can name it George. You can name it whatever. It doesn't matter. Anything that's going to make sense to you, you can name it. Do not name it, you know, don't try to name it like a number or something weird that isn't going to make any sense later. I would definitely put something there like computer display or whatever it is that you want to put there. You don't have to put anything there. If you don't put anything there, it's going to default to your requisition number, just so you know. It's not a required field. It's just a field that you can use to look up information. So here's your item. It's $5. Now I'm going to enter my chart string information. So you click on this little tab here, and it drops this down. And then you can always select your due date here. I'm just going to put next week. And then you're going to go here where it says accounting lines, and you click here, and this drops down. And then you're going to go to chart fields 2. This is the only tab that you need to go to. And you're going to put your chart string in. So let me put in my chart string. If I can remember my chart string. If I don't remember it, I'm going to look it up. Wrong one. Oh, don't go faster than the computer. It just really is confusing. It will just not like you. So you might have to type a little bit slower. I'm going to leave this 66507, but this is where you can change the account. It does default from whatever category you select on the front page. This defaults this account here because every category has a account attached to it. So right now, since I picked computer displays, this is the correct account that I would use for this purchase. Once that's all there, I can click save for later. Just because I want to save it, I don't want to lose it, I want it to be there. So I'm going to save it for later. And it gave me a requisition ID once I click save for later. Then, if I want to make this an amount only, I would click here under the details tab. And I'm going to click this checkbox right here where it says amount only. That means that it is an amount only purchase, and I can order as much stuff as I want under this PO. Unfortunately, I made this an itemized PO, so I do not want to check amount only. I want to leave that information there. So I am going to add a note, a comment here. I'm going to put a comment, and I'm going to put Charm Stone, and I'm going to put my room 9254 Kendall and my email address and my phone number, my extension. Don't call me. No, I'm just kidding. And if I want to show this at the receipt so that receiving can see it, I'm going to check this box. If I want to show it at the voucher so accounts payable can see it, I'm going to click this box. I don't necessarily need it to go to the supplier, so I don't really want to check that box. But if I'm going to add an attachment, then I would click the add the attachment file, and then you choose your file, and you can choose anything you want. So I'll just go here and I'll pick this PO and I'm gonna attach it. Upload, and make sure you wait for it to stop, and then it'll show you the file here and you see that the file is there. Then you need to click OK. I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna save for later because I wanna make sure that my attachment saves. If you do not make sure that your attachment saves, then you have the possibility of thinking that you've attached something, but then it didn't save it, so it didn't keep the attachment there. If you see right here that this has squiggly lines on it, you can see that there's comments and attachments here. You can put that here, or you can put it in the header. I prefer that you just put it here next to the line. That works best. If you want, you can put it down here and put anything you want. You can put your personal contact information here. Approval justification is where you would put that my boss is ordering this for you know, for us to have in the office, and then that's just there, and that means that's what every single approver is going to see once they see it. So now I'm going to check my budget because I want to make sure that I pre-encumber the funds for this purchase. Once I pre-encumber the funds, then I know that I'm able to submit for approval. I'm going to show you how to do a requisition in the purchasing module. I'll be using, basically, I'll use the same information just so you can see the difference. This is like a testing environment, so it's a little bit slower than normal. I hope everybody is good so far. So yes, yay, my rec is valid. So I am able to save and submit now. So I'm going to save it and I'm going to submit it. So I click save and submit, and then it will show me where it goes in the workflow. So because it's a computer related item, it's going to go to purchasing, then it's going to go to Russell Kaufman, which has got his name scrambled. Then it's going to go to the Office of IT Vice Provost, and then it's going to go to my approver, Ramon Bristol. So I hope that part makes sense. So I can go back to Manage Requisitions. It's waiting. It's working. Okay. So now I go back to my Manage Requisitions. I can see my rec here. The first one is valid. It's pending. If you click the little triangle next to the number, it drops down and it tells you that it is a requisition and it's in the approval workflow. Then when it becomes a purchase order, this icon will light up. And then when it goes and it gets received, you'll see receiving light up. When the invoices get paid, you'll see invoice light up. And then when the payment actually gets done, you'll see the payment light up. So you can always go back here and see where your rec is. If your rec is a PO, then you would see it in this queue. Right there. Let me see if I find one. Here's one that says PO created, for example. So you see how the PO is lit up here? If you click on that link, it takes you to this page where it gives you the PO number. And it tells you the PO date. It does tell you that the PO is pending approval, which means it has not been dispatched. This needs to say dispatched in order for you to know that it has been released to the supplier. If it says pending approval, it means it's in normally Al's queue and she's still going to be working on it. And that's in the that's in e-procurement. So that's what you would look at under your Manage Requisitions. You can go here and you can see all your information here. Let's see. This one, let me find this one. Okay, so this one has multiple lines. It's open, it's not checked. There's 3 lines here. So we can budget check it and see if it passes. So I'm going to check the budget and I'm going to go. And I'm going to show you the errors also. Maybe we can go in and fix, we'll go in and fix one of the errors, and then we'll go from there. And the only way, okay, hold on. Okay, let me go down here. Okay, so this one is good now. No, it's not. Sorry, it's an error. Okay, let's go to edit. I want to see what the error is so that we can try to fix it. Okay, so it's failed budget check. So you have the big word, red word that says error down here. If you click on that, it's going to tell you what your error is. No budget exists. All 3 lines, no budget exists. So that means that there's no budget in this 6000018. If you were to go to the little box here that says transfer and it says go to, if you click there and then you go to budget inquiry, I'm not authorized to view this component. Don't go there. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Let me just get out of this one. Let me go back to the manage requisitions. Hold on. Let's see. Error. I want to see one that we can fix so you can see how to fix the error. And I'll look for a denied one that you can fix. Ugh. This one has a lot of lines. 19 lines. Okay. I don't want to use that one either. Too many lines. Sorry, I'm going to be picky. Let me go to denied. Let me just look for a denied one. Okay. So let's pick the first one and find out why. Edit. Go. Okay, so it was denied because there is no supplier ID on here. So that one we can fix. So you see how this is blank? We need to make sure that we add a supplier. So we're going to go to details. And you're going to go down here to supplier ID. And we'll just pick one. We'll pick the ice cream people. And we'll save. We'll click OK. And then we're going to go down and save for later. So now we need to make sure that we can get it at a denied status because it's still not going to let you do save and submit. Will it let you do it? Oh, it did. Okay. So now it's okay. That one can go forward. Let's go back and do another one that has another issue. If it's something that's already valid and you can't budget check, usually that's when you need to make some sort of change on the rec in order for it to be submitted again. So let's see what you just click on preview approvals and then you can go in and look at what needs to be changed from purchasing or from one of the approvers. Please cancel all lines and keep one line item to resubmit as an amount only PO, with one line item indicating amount only for educational supplies needed for math department. Line item 12, shredder machine is over 1,000 and must be in a separate requisition using account 70602. Please attach same quote. So Norma had given those instructions and that's what needed to be done. So in order to cancel, we're going to go back. We need to go back to manage requisitions for this one, because that's where I wanted to show you how to cancel. Sorry, I know this is like slow. Okay, here we can cancel some lines. So I'm going to cancel line 2. So you click on the red X and it says, are you sure you want to cancel line 2? Okay. And it canceled line 2. So you see where it says canceled? Every time you cancel a line, you have to check the budget. So every time you do it, you will have to go back and check budget. But that's how you would cancel lines here. You just cancel lines, cancel lines, cancel lines. I'm going to show you how to do a rec in purchasing, but let this finish spinning. Okay. So you're going to go to main menu, financials, purchasing, requisitions, add update requisitions. So again, it's main menu, financials, purchasing, requisitions, add update. So in this screen, you're just going to click the add button. Here you can put your requisition name, and then I'm going to put myself. I'm not going to put myself, but okay, I'm going to select Charmaine. I'm going to put her there. It has all the information that I don't have to do. I'm going to add my comment of my information. And then I'm going to send this, I'm going to show it the voucher and show it receipt. And I'm going to attach something. I'm going to upload it. I'm going to wait for the little wheel of misfortune to keep spinning, and then I see that it's here, and then I'm going to click OK. Now, it's not going to let you save because you don't have anything else added here at this point, so you need to put in your information. I'm going to go ahead and put my quantity of 1, my unit of measure as each, my category, I'm going to do the same one. I'm going to do contains, COMP, and I'm going to look for computer display, and it's $5. I'm going to go to the ship to due date tab, and I'm going to pick next week, even though I know it won't get here. I'm going to go to the supplier information tab. I'm going to find Dell. So I'm going to do contains Dell. And I'm going to pick Dell. I'm going to go to the attributes tab. And I'm going to select, if this is amount only, I would select it here. You can also select the buyer at this point if you know who the buyer is. That's it for these tabs. Then go back to details tab. And you're going to add the chart string. So you go here where it says schedule. It's a little box here where it has like a little clock piece on it. You go there and you click there. And then you're going to click here where it says distribution, which is a box with 3 arrows. And I'm going to put in my chart string. And I'm going to leave the 66507 there because that's the account I want to use. So I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to click Save here because I want to save everything I've already done. I don't want to lose anything. So it has given me a requisition ID here. And I am ready to check my budget. So when you're ready to check your budget, you can, if you want to put, so here's the other place that, before I go and check budget, here's the other place that you can add a comment on the line. So let me just add a comment here. And I'm going to show it at the voucher, and I'm going to show it at the receipt. I'm going to send it to the supplier. So, okay. I'm going to click save again because I just added that note. Now that I'm going to check budget, you go to this little icon with the magnifying glass up here under where it says budget status not checked. You just click the very first one that says budget check. You click that, and that's going to do our budget check for us. And the wheel of misfortune is spinning. I would sing the Jeopardy theme, but I don't think anybody wants to hear me sing. And I'm sorry we've gone over our time already, but open, where it says status open and I want to submit for approval, I'm going to click this green checkbox here. And it says, do you wish to save the current document? Yes. So I'm going to say yes, and then it's going to be pending approval. So now it has gone to be approved. And I could click down here, it says view approvals. And I can see that it's gone to the same approval levels that I showed you from the e-procurement rec. So that's what I wanted to show you in the system. Let me go back to my PowerPoint to see if I missed anything. So I think that's it. If anybody has questions about training or anything like that, you can go to ba_training@mdc.edu. If you have any questions about purchasing processes, then you can email us at purchasing@mdc.edu. And if you have any questions about vendors, please go to mdcvendors@mdc.edu. Don't worry, Gabby, I haven't finished yet. I'm gonna ask you guys if you have anything you want to say before everything else. Before we take questions, I want to ask you guys. If you do not have access as a requester and you know you need access, then you need to contact Finance Security and fill out the form. Your supervisor has to give you approval. Then it goes through that path. If you have problems approving, you can't see something, or it's not showing up in your work list, or your boss is having problems, everything, that stuff goes through Finance Security. It doesn't come through purchasing. So I wanted to say that. And that you will get, you can find that information under the Business Affairs Department. And again, any forms that you need that are business affairs related, you can find on our website. And that's it. So I want to open up to the buyers to find out if they have anything they want to interject. I know Gabby wants to say something, so I want her to go ahead and say what she wants to say.
Hey, Charm. Well, I mentioned to someone about, you know, that manual you created the last time we did this, and it was shared with the requesters.
Okay.
That if anyone needs one, if they can get that sent to them.
Yeah, the desktop manual is available, and it can be sent to anyone who needs it. I made a desktop manual on how to enter a requisition. It's just a basic desktop manual, and it's available. Anybody who wants to get a copy of that, we can definitely make sure that you get a copy of it. It will be on our Business Affairs training page when that goes live.
Okay, and then I see a, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I see a question here that I think would probably be good for you to address instead of me typing on the chat. I want to know, Kathy Evans wants to know if we can explain to her when they need to itemize items.
Okay, so itemizing, basically, let's take, for example, furniture. Furniture's a lot of little pieces. It's a lot of stuff. It has to be itemized, not because that's what we require, it's because that's what the furniture companies require. Anything where you want us to place the order for you. So for example, Gabby buys science equipment and medical equipment. Those have to be itemized. If you want Gabby to place the order at Fisher Scientific for you, then you would need to itemize that. If you want a blanket order that you can order whatever merchandise you want, then you make it a blanket order. That's the difference. You tell me, Gabby, if you feel like that's wrong or if I need to add something to it.
I mean, medical, I get a lot of blanket orders for medical, but usually because they're like lab supplies and they're small items. You know,
Right.
if they're buying equipment, then yes, of course, that needs to be itemized.
Right. Anything over a unit cost of $1,000 has to be itemized. Anything. I hope that answers Kathy's question. If it doesn't, Kathy, let us know and we'll try to answer it a little bit better. Does anybody else have any questions or the buyers? I'm talking about the buyers, like Nafessa or Norma or Terry. Like, you guys have anything that you want to say that I missed out on or I should have added? Or
for me, when I see recs that don't say blanket PO on it and they don't put invoices or quotes, I automatically deny them. So if you are doing a blank PO, that's why you didn't put an invoice. Please make sure you state it somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blanket, amount only, or open PO, any of
Yeah.
those phrases in the description will let us know that it's a blanket.
Correct. We need you to specify it's an amount only PO somewhere in the item description. We can't read your mind, so please put open account for whatever you're buying, blanket order for whatever you're buying, or amount only PO for whatever you're buying. Just so those are keywords that we look for, and then we don't need to have necessarily an attachment on that stuff.
Okay, and Erica wants us to explain what amount only is. So amount only is the same as a blanket PO, means that it's just a purchase order for a sum that you will purchase various or random items. So it's just a different variation of blanket purchase order.
Right, and you can leave it open for the entire year, and you can make multiple purchases on that PO. You can increase it, you can decrease it. It's just like having like a little savings account for you to make whatever purchases you want against it, under $1,000 unit cost. That's what that is. Okay, do you guys have anything? Does Norma have anything to say? Okay, Laura Palermo has a question.
Can I ask the questions that I recorded first?
Oh wait, hold on. So we're gonna I'm gonna go and we're gonna ask. They're gonna give me the questions that are in the chat first, and then we'll go in and we'll go back to raising hands. Okay. So okay, Nafessa, tell me what you got.
All right. So the first question I have is from Daniel Gordine. He was asking if there was anything different regarding requisitions. So if there is any new processes since we are now working from home.
No. Everything should be the same because the requisitions are the same. I don't know if you mean anything specifically, but there shouldn't be anything different.
Okay. All right, and also Emma Rodriguez, she wanted to know when we started working at home, she received an email that she could receive items at home from Staples. And she wants to know, how does she reflect that in the requisition?
Okay, let's open that can of worms. Okay, so if you need something delivered to your home while we're on remote, you have to open up a separate requisition for that. So if you're getting an off the supply delivered to your home address, you need to open up a requisition that's going to be reflecting your home, whoever's home address. Then when we go back into the office, you will have to close out the remote PO and you will need to open a new PO that's going to be delivered to the college. I hope that is clear to everyone. So you have to have separate POs, separate for having home delivery and separate for when we go back to the college. That's just so we can cut off the one that gets home delivered, and then we'll go back to the one that is going to be delivered at the college. Okay, Nafessa.
Okay. Okay, so
You want me to give one?
yeah, go ahead, Terry.
Mirna Arshaga is asking, failed budget check. How can we edit and resubmit the requisition when budget check is valid?
Yeah, you have to make sure that it's valid. You cannot do anything until the requisition is valid.
She wants to know how to resubmit.
How to resend it? Is it already valid?
How can we edit and resubmit the requisition once budget check is valid?
Once it's valid. So you go into the rec, through manage requisitions, you're going to edit the requisition, and then you're going to go into the rec itself. I can show you if that's what you, if that would be easier. Hold on. Let me, so once it's valid, and you want to resubmit, you kind of have to like trick the system, and it's just doing this little going in to preview the approvals and putting a note in the approval justification. I don't know if anybody's aware of that, but that's what has to be done. So hold on. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. When you can see my screen, Nafessa, Terry, whoever. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to pick this requisition, StarQuicks 43881. It was denied, but it's valid. I'm going to go in, I'm going to edit, and I'm going to go. I don't know, was her requisition in denied status, or was it just in budget error? I don't know. So here, I'm going to type a note. I'm just going to put restart, which is what I usually tell people to put, restart workflow. And then I go to preview approvals, and it says requisition has to be saved versus the preview approvals. I'm going to click OK. And then it's taken it out, and now it's open. So then you just return, and then you can go down and you can click save and submit. It's now open. So that's one way to get it out of, to send it back, is to go in and do that little trick where you type in the approval workflow, restart workflow, approval justification, restart workflow, click on preview approvals, and then click yes to save it, and then it'll take it out of that denied status. But if it's just an error and you've corrected the error and it says valid, you should just be able to resubmit. If it's valid, you don't have to budget check, and you can just resubmit. Okay. Next question, Terry, Nafessa.
Okay.
Okay, we did let's see. There was one. Oh, someone was asking earlier, Michael, if manage, he doesn't have access to manage requisition approvals, but somebody answered that he needs to be approved for that, correct?
Right. Oh, let me address the denied requisition. So when you guys get an email saying that your rec has been denied, and there's a link on that email, and you try to click on that email, it's not going to take you anywhere, because that email is for approvers. And because you're a requester, you do not have the access that the approvers have. So you cannot click on that link and take you back into the system. You have to go into the system and go through manage requisitions in order to see why your requisition was denied. I had to say that.
Okay, Charm. Daisy had a question. She wants to know how to add an item when the requisition was sent to be approved and it was denied because it was originally done as a blanket order, and now she needs to make changes to add itemized lines.
Okay, if you're doing it in e-procurement, you go into manage requisitions. Hold on, let me get back. Manage requisitions. Okay, we'll just pick one. Let's see. We'll just pick this one. Cancellation fee. Okay, so it's here. You see there's a bunch of stuff here. We're going to edit. So you go into edit and then go.
Share screen.
Oh, sorry. I just like, you know. Sorry. Let me go back. Okay, so I'm going to go here. It's valid, but I want to add a line to it. So I'm going to click edit, and then I'm going to click go. And here where it says add more lines, you click that button. And it takes you back to this express item entry. So you click on express item entry, and I'm going to add line. And quantity of 1. So you have to put in all this information again for the item that, for the line you need to add. So I'm just going to pick $1. Some supplier, because I don't know who the supplier is for this one. So I'm going to click add to cart. If you want additional lines, you would just click the plus sign, and then it just adds, you can add 5 lines, 100 lines, whatever lines you want. So you see there's 5 lines here, but I only added 1 because there was already 4 on the rec, and then I click checkout, and now that last line is here. So I have to go in and I have to add the chart string for this line because I just added it. So I'll add the chart string here. I hope that makes sense.
I hope so.
Okay, Nafessa. Next
Yeah.
question.
Okay. Do we always need to use the add one-time address information? That was from Luciano.
Only if you're adding a one-time address. If you're not, then you do not have to add that. I mean, it'll automatically default to receiving. If you want to change all of, here, let me just share this again. So I'm in the rec already. So let's say you have I have 5 lines here. I can add a one-time address just to this line. I can change the address on just this line if I want. You can change the address on each line. If you want to change all the addresses, you go down here where it says shipping summary and you click edit for all lines. And this is where you can change the shipping information, I think. Ship to location, it defaults to receiving, so maybe not. Oh, here it is, add one-time address, sorry. Add one-time address, you can add it here, and then you can just, it'll add it to all the lines. And then just click OK. And it says retrofit changes, yes. Retrofit changes, you want to click yes. So then it changes all the lines to the same one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So another question is from Deborah Sheridan Brinkman. She wants to know how can they get a PDF copy of the PO. So we attempted to answer that in the chat, but I'm sure others also want to know. So do you mind sharing?
What'd you guys tell them?
Well, it all depends on the buyer. Lucy responded to reach out to the buyer to get a copy. In my case, I send a blanket, any blanket purchase order to the contact information on the PO, and itemized POs are sent to the vendor, and the department is copied on that email.
Okay. So
And Gabby sends all POs to vendors, blanket and items.
Right. Some people don't send blankets, all the blankets to the vendors. Like, I know the agreement for service POs do not leave the building. They don't go to anybody. So if you need a hard copy of a PO, which I mean, technically everything is in the system. We don't print anything anymore. Even the POs are not printed. Everything is electronic. You have everything at your fingertips in the manage requisition screen. You have the ability to see everything there. You have the ability to see the PO number, the rec numbers, anything that you're looking for, you have it right there at your fingertips. If you have to have, for some reason, a piece of paper, I would suggest reaching out to the buyer, whoever it is, for that particular PO and requesting a hard copy of the PO. That's the only way that you're actually going to get a physical or a scanned copy of a PO. But that's my answer.
Charm, for the deliver to the home, there a money value amount that they cannot go over? Like they cannot have printers or over a certain amount?
No, you know, there's like heavy stuff that does not need to go to receiving, like a refrigerator. We wouldn't deliver to receiving and then have it go to the department. It should automatically go to the department. There's certain things that automatically should go to the department, shouldn't go to receiving. I mean, we have receiving as a default for everything, but there are exceptions to the rule, and where heavy stuff, hazardous materials, that all needs to go directly to the campus and the department person.
Sorry, I meant delivered, delivering to the homes, to your home, while you're staying home.
No, oh, anything that's under $100,000, that's the only stuff that you can have delivered to your home while we're on remote. And it has to be really like, it can't be anything that needs a decal or anything like that. It has to be under $1,000. And preferably office supplies. And preferably approved by your supervisor.
You.
Okay.
I think.
Charm?
All right, so I think there's, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's some discussion about what's the max amount for a blanket PO or amount only PO.
It depends on what it is, because we have contracts in place with certain vendors and we have board items for certain things. So for example, promotional items, we have board item for promotional items. You can spend up to $25,000 or more on a blanket account with a promotional vendor. The same with staples. There's a board item in place and you can spend more than $5,000. If we don't have a board item in place, then it's $4,999. It's $5,000 bucks. That's how much you can spend up to in an open account. Nafessa, you have a question?
Ronald posted a question. Does non-consumable items that are sent to home addresses need to be brought back on campus when we go back?
If the college paid for it, it is college property, and yes, unless it's a consumable such as paper or Post-its or ink cartridges, those, yeah, you would be using those at home. You do not have to bring those back to the college, but anything else that's purchased and the college pays for or reimburses you for, then you need to bring that back to the college. A chair, a desk, a keyboard, a mouse, whatever that is, you have to bring that back to the college because that is college property.
Okay, that's it.
Any other questions? You have any more questions, Terry?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, so now we're gonna open the mics for people to ask. Okay, Bertha? Did we lose Bertha?
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. My own microphone.
So anybody that has questions now, we're going to open the microphone so that you can ask the questions.
So participants have audio. If they want to ask, all they need to do is raise their hand so we know in which order to answer, and then they can click on their mic icon to activate it when they're ready.
Okay, so anybody that has any additional questions, this is your time to ask. Okay, Karen, you're first. Karen, you have to like unmute yourself. Can you hear us? We can't hear you.
So Karen, if you're unable to use the mic, please type in your question in the chat. And I'm sorry about that.
All right, does anybody else have any questions? Okay, Rosa, go ahead.
Yes, this is maybe outside the scope of the training you had, which was absolutely fabulous, I must say.
Thank you.
But I know it used to be Elizabeth, the P card contact question that was years ago. And now I would like to know for P card questions, because I usually have every year a grant, which we did not do this year, and so we have to have P card related purchases, and I need someone that I can call without calling the the director for the purchasing department,
Sure,
someone
sure. Yeah.
can we do this?
We actually have the person who replaced Elizabeth. You're talking about Liza Robin? Or Elizabeth Reyes?
I think it was Elizabeth. We're talking years ago, okay?
Okay, but it was Elizabeth Zaralbin, but she's been gone for a while. So the person who replaced her is Marcella Vidal, and you can reach out to her.
Marcy, how do you spell her name?
Marcella, M-A-R. Her last name is Vidal.
Oh, Marcy Vidal. So yes, it's Marcella?
Marcella.
Oh, okay.
Marcella Vidal. That's how you'll find her in the phone book, in the address book.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have questions? Liliana, I know you've raised your hand.
Yes, I just need a little more explanation of what Gabby Newsom told me about category. She said that make sure that your account choice does not get automatically changed, because some categories are tied to the specific accounts. Once you change your account back, I just need a little bit more of
okay, so when you select a category, it is tied to an account. So every category has an account associated with them. So if you pick a category that's associated with like 70606, but you really want 66507, you have to go in and manually change the account to 66507 because it's automatically going to go to 70606.
Okay.
So you have to go into that chart fields 2 section and you have to override it at that point.
Okay, so the account, it's what we call the geocode before.
Yes, it's the old GL code in like olden times, yes.
Perfect. Okay, because I have a lot of trouble and sometimes it really takes time to trying to find the closest one. I know even it's the closest one. And I said, oh my God, just let me get this one,
Yeah, I mean, you can get the closest one and you can override the account and change it to the account that you know it needs to be. You can do that. That's what she was wanting you to know, is that you needed to be able to override it. So, I mean, like, don't just assume it's the right account. You need to go and verify that it's the right one, because you can just change it if you need to.
Okay. Thank you. And I learned this because I learned I have more clarification of things that I was doing too.
Amazing. And your picture is beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, Myra, you're next.
So there's questions about categories, Charm. One of the questions said, for office supplies, there's nothing called office supplies. What should they select? Desk supplies?
Desk supplies. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the other question is if they don't have that category for something medical or webinar, can they send you suggestions or?
As long as it's something close to what we're looking for, they can go ahead and just enter that in and then just override the account that gets associated with it. Because really that's what we're looking at is the account. When they select the category, it's tied to the account.
So if it's something medical, they should just pick something that says medical.
They can find something, yeah, they can find something that says medical. And if they're unsure, Gabby might know of one specific category for medical that they can use.
Okay. And then the other question was on when they're selecting a vendor, for example, Dell, there's several Dells. How do they know which one to select? Or would you
reach out to William Planas because I really don't know myself. There's probably, I think there's 2 different ones in there. There's like Dell Marketing and then Dell Corporation or something. So I don't know which one specifically needs to be utilized, but they can reach William Planas and he can help them pick which one they need.
Won't he fix it once he gets it?
Yeah, he can change it anyway. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm. You guys can
pick whichever one you want, and we can always change it if it's not the correct one. We can change it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it for me.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Charm, I wanted to follow up on Karen Felton's question. So she had a problem getting her mic. So her question was previously you mentioned not to use educational materials. Please explain what we should be using instead.
Well, I mean, it's just, you need to be more specific of what you're buying. If you're buying pens and pencils for students, then you need to say, I'm buying, you know, I'm buying supplies for students.
Oh, we lost Charm. Did we lose Charm? I think we did. Yes. Okay, so we lost Charm. So Karen, I are the buyers that would get those POs.
Okay.
We can. You here? She's back.
Yeah, I came back. Sorry. So I don't know, like, you know, it depends on what you're buying. So that's the best answer I can come up with.
Right. So just to add to that, Karen. So for example, if you're purchasing from Staples, don't just put educational materials from Staples. Put that you're purchasing materials such as pen, paper, staplers, just a few examples from Staples for whatever department, math, science, or whatever it is, so we know, because you could be purchasing, I don't know, a copier machine from Staples and copier machine that's Gabby's commodity. So automatically, because it's Staples, we assume it's normal because we don't know what is being purchased. But if we know what is being purchased, it would go to the correct buyer.
Okay, and Brenda has a question.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I have a good. I have a question. When we do this requisition, there are two main types, one for service and one for amount only POs. Now, when I do for service, I usually attach an AFS, and when I do for amount only, can I just use a quote as an attachment?
Yes, you can use a quote as an attachment. That's fine. Your AFS is, you know, you're going to attach that to anything that's a professional service that you're having done. You would do the AFS. But that's,
yes,
yeah, you can attach a quote. You can attach a quote to an amount only PO.
Okay. And I would love to have a link for the recording of this session.
Yes, it will be sent out to everyone after Bertha takes care of that part.
Yes, no worries.
Thank you so much.
I will email everybody who actually registered, whether they had a chance to join or not, and everybody will receive a copy of the recording. Just give me a day or so, because we need to actually caption everything before we share it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Emma has a question. Go ahead, Emma.
Yes, maybe my last question today. For example, if we have 2, 3, or 4 open accounts, right? Open PO, like a blanket order, something like that. We have to close it at the end of the academic year. For example, I have always a staple blanket order, right? And I try to spend at least all money, but sometimes 1 cent or 2 cents left.
No, you don't have to close that. You can just leave
Okay.
it.
Okay.
If it's
Like
under
that.
$10, you don't need to notify us. It'll automatically close.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
you don't have to
so
worry.
much.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Does anybody else have any questions?
No.
Is there any? Hi. Any other questions? Nothing? You guys have been amazing. I truly appreciate you tuning in and you know, attending this and asking your questions and being available. It makes a big difference for purchasing. It makes a big difference for you guys. And you know, I know we're all home and probably got a little bit of ants in our pants. I know I do. I can't wait to be off tomorrow just to not be on the computer. And you know, if you guys need anything, you can reach out to anybody in purchasing. We're all available and we're here to help. So that's it. Thank you so much for participating. We truly appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks.